Hi everyone, welcome to the 4th episode of Truth in Tech, the show where we go over some of the week's top tech stories in further detail. My New York story of the week is just a little, I think you probably remember last year Google held an event for developers who were willing to shell out $1,500, introducing them to Google Glass, or Project Glass, I guess they called it, which is the augmented reality glasses. They now have this thing called the Mirror API, which I assume allows you to import or use glass type features in things other than the glasses. So they are showing that to the same developers that signed up originally to use Project Glass. They're doing 2 events. One's in San Francisco, one's in New York. And it's in 2 weeks at the Google headquarters. And yeah, I think it's the first time anyone outside of Google has seen the Mirror API. So there should be some cool news and blog posts about it after that event. And yeah, it's 2 days long, so that should be pretty cool. That's my New York story.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Yeah, for Boston, the big news was Aaron Swartz's death. So he's the Reddit co-founder who committed suicide in New York. And
he went to MIT, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing an investigation of his death because it's bringing up a lot of debate on computer crime laws and censorship, because it goes back to when he was at MIT, he hacked into the JSTOR and took academic papers, and so he was potentially, or he was charged with 13 counts of felony and then potentially facing about 35 years in prison and a $1 million fine.
That.
I know, it's ridiculous.
35 years in prison for so crazy.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of protest against it. I think on Twitter people were posting PDFs, and arguing for, limited censorship or free use of material on the internet. So, and Anonymous, the hacktivist group, they left a farewell message for him on MIT, they hacked MIT. And
yeah, because MIT's been, I guess, cooperating with the investigation. So yeah, that aroused Anonymous's ire. And I guess they're hosting a protest at one courthouse square in Boston next Friday.
Oh.
So that should be interesting. I'm sure Boston Innovation will be all over it.
Yeah, they're pretty on top of those stories, so that'll be
cool. Well, other big news, Facebook released their new graph search feature, which basically, to me, it works a little bit like their advertising platform has always worked. You just, you have the 2-part or phrase searches, so you want, you're searching for a type of person or a specific person who likes X. The big problem I see with it is people's likes aren't that consistent, and you don't necessarily like all the things that you like, or update your likes as you grow. I don't even know what my likes are. I should probably check. Mashable had a pretty funny article on all these people who like these really bizarre or disgusting or just stupid things to publicly on Facebook, and that you can now find using graph search. So
if you do it as a favor for a friend, or
yeah, right, because that's I always get messages being like my store or my startup or whatever, and I never do it because it's not I don't know. I just don't see the value in it.
Yeah. Well,
But
if
when
you
I
do it and forget about it, now it's going to show
well,
up on these like
right, yeah, and
searches
I
that
think
are
the last
stored
time,
forever.
yeah, when I joined Facebook, definitely I was like liking things more often. So I think I need to go back and check what they have on me, because you can't opt out of graph search.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, so yeah, so you could delete your unlike things, but yeah, you're gonna whatever you like now is gonna show up in
Oh, that's
search, which is
interesting.
yeah, it's kind of creepy in a way, because like I don't know, like people that don't know you can find you based on what you like.
Yeah. And it's also that was kind of interesting too, because or an interesting move for Microsoft with Bing, because wasn't it more of like
Yeah.
Facebook was kind of a
Hmm.
part of Bing search, and
Right.
now
Like,
it's kind of like Bing is a part of Facebook. It's kind of
yeah,
how I'm seeing it,
it
but
is interesting. Yeah, because Bing, like, I think maybe even up to 2 years ago, like if you search for something on Bing, it would be like you'd search for like Hawaii or something, like just to use the commercials example, and like your friends who liked Hawaii would like their Facebook comments would show up, and then you could like directly from Bing like ask them more questions about Hawaii or
uh,
yeah. So it's kind of similar, and I guess it's like initially supposed to be more of like a Yelp or like Match, one of those online match sites
yeah.
replacement, but they want to take on Google eventually.
Hmm.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
see how
not
that
so
plays out.
into the fact that I can't opt out,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyways, that's the Facebook news. What do you have going
Yeah,
on?
so, well, no transition here, but there, I read a cool story about a developer outsourced his own job to China. So basically, he was having like his company pay him, arbitrary six-digit figure salary, and
Yeah.
then basically paying like 50,000 of that to this company in China to do his work for
Oh
him.
my
So he
God.
like, gave him his VPN login, and they would
Yeah.
log in and do all the work, 9 to 5. So he'd come in 9 to 5. It looks like he's doing his work, but it's actually someone else, like putting in
Yeah.
all of the work, and he's still getting paid, but he's just, surfing the web all day long. So, I mean,
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of what like what's his name? Like Tim Ferriss like says that you should do. Like that's how you can have like a 4 hour work week is like you outsource everything to people who will do it for cheaper than you.
yeah.
Um, I
Well,
guess. I mean, I don't know if that's like against our contracts. So, all right. So this is a little more of a gossipy story than we normally do, but it's like just so crazy. You probably read um, about what's been going on with, I may be pronouncing this name wrong, but Manti Te'o. He's
oh
the
yes.
Notre Dame quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Anyways, so he had this girlfriend, supposedly, who died in September, October, in October, right before Notre Dame's first game.
Mm-hmm.
And then like
That was
Manti
it,
like
and it was at the same time that his grandma passed away too.
right, it was the same. Yeah, it was within 24 hours. They both passed away. So then
Mm-hmm.
he like went on. They like played Michigan State, and it was like this huge upset. Like they won 20-3, and he had 12 tackles. Maybe he wasn't the quarterback if he was tackling. Anyways, he had a really good, he had a really good game. Um, and then like he kept like he was playing really well, and it was like this like amazing story. So like Sports Illustrated did a big like put him on their cover. ESPN did a big story on it, and then there were like the South Bend Tribune, which is like the paper in the town where Notre Dame is, did like tons of stories on it. Anyways, and so they all talk about this girlfriend, Lene. I think I'm pronouncing that right as well.
Yeah.
About like his relationship with Lene and like how much she meant to him and like how they would talk on the phone every day and like when she was in a coma, he would be like on the phone, like he just would talk to her, and her like breathing would increase when he was talking to her while she was in the coma, like all this like like sort of
Who put all that
dramatic.
out?
He told like a lot of it was in this like Sports Illustrated feature where he talked. There was like the feature and then the follow up, and in both it was like the same story of like their love affair from
And
afar.
wasn't this kind of like helping spur his like bid for the Heisman Trophy?
Right. Yeah. So this whole thing, yeah. So it was like the last. I think it was the last. This happened the last week in September, and then his bid for the Heisman started the first week in October. And so yeah, it was like right before. So anyways, like that doesn't sound like a tech story, except for the way they figured. So Deadspin broke this story, and they figured it out because first of all, so yeah, Lene, this girlfriend, not a real person. Deadspin figured this out because this other woman like contacted them and was like, this football player is like using my picture, like saying I found this like picture of me purporting to be his girlfriend, and that's my picture. It's from my Facebook account. I don't even know this guy. So they like started investigating. The whole story is so long, but basically like this guy who knows the football player, this guy Ronaya, I'm not even gonna pronounce his last name, Ronaya something, created this girl for using pictures from an old classmate's Facebook account, and set this girl up with Manti, and they had a Twitter relationship. But then there are all these like quotes from Manti about like sort of seeing her in person, or his dad was like, she came to visit us in Hawaii. So it's like, and then so Deadspin figured it out that like there's a lot of lies going on by looking through the Google cache of Manti and a bunch of his friends on the team, and this guy Renaya's like Twitter accounts, and all these tweets have been like deleted since, but they were able to find them using Google's cache, because Google cache is like everything. So yeah, they had all these.
Everything's permanent. Everything you put out on the internet is permanent.
Exactly.
Stored somewhere.
Yeah. So they just like figured this. There's still so many. Like the big questions are like, because Manti and the college are insisting that he was a victim of a hoax, but it's like, how stupid could you be? And like there are all these like quotes from, he's saying now like that he made things up because he was embarrassed that he was having an online relationship, but Deadspin is like, no, he was definitely in on it.
Right, because it's coming from his account. And
like, yeah, and it's just like there are a lot of things like he said that like just seemed so like, if I don't know, if you were a victim of a hoax, I feel like he wouldn't have like said things like some of the more specific things that he said, like that just wouldn't have been. I don't know. It feels like there's no way that he could have thought she was a real person. And he was just like, use it. Maybe at one point he did, but I'm sure this has to do with like, the school's football and like him getting the Heisman, which probably won't happen now.
Maybe getting more publicity for his team
exactly. Yeah, but it was really good. The story that Deadspin did was really good, like really well written. It's really interesting, and I kept reading it, like taking notes, and then there was just more and more crazy detail, like as I read down. So we'll put the link to the full story if you haven't read it yet in the notes. But definitely like great journalism, really good use of Google's cache, and just an insane story. And one of the guys that broke it, that did the reporting, is still in college. He was like doing it over his college break.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a real coup for a college kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's a long story, but it's pretty interesting, I thought.
That's
I'm sure more
lately.
Yeah, I'm sure more detail will come out as the weeks go by. But yeah, so that's what we had. That was my biggest story, probably. I know weird transition, but you had an update from one of the companies we were talking about last week, Leap Motion, I think.
Oh yeah. So now Leap Motion that we had talked about in one of the previous episodes is now available at Best Buy. So now you can
Oh,
purchase,
nice.
yeah, that.
So you can just like purchase the thing that plugs into your computer, the USB
Yeah,
or whatever it is. Cool.
right?
Awesome.
Because that's the one where it like mimics your hand
Yeah.
gestures.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. All right, and then I have some fun Twitter news. It's our last story. Michelle Obama joined Twitter yesterday. It was her birthday. I saw a tweet about it 11 minutes after she joined, and she'd already had over 1,000 followers. So I was a little jealous.
wow.
But yeah, so now she and Mr. Obama, President Obama, are both on Twitter. He has a lot more followers than she does, but she just joined, so we'll see how
Point of contention in the White House.
Her first tweet was,
I think they're making all or reserving Twitter handles for all like potential first ladies. I was reading.
In the future, how do they know if someone's going to be a first lady or not?
I mean, I guess just reserving. I'm going off of like who potentially could run for president within the next.
Okay.
Yeah, and then based off of that.
Yeah.
Who they're married to. Reserve their name on Twitter.
Yeah. Interesting. Nice. Well, okay. And then, so for app of the week, it's this fun reading app, social reading app called Quib, Q-U-I-B-B. It sits in your Chrome browser. It probably works on other browsers too, but it's a browser extension. And basically, if you're reading a cool article, you click the Quib button. You send it to Quib. You can add like comments and stuff, and then like the Quib site itself will have like all these people that are on the sites, like articles that they've sent in or commented or voted up, or like you can also ask members to comment on articles. And it's just like a good source for interesting stories. You have to like apply to join the network, so it's still like a pretty good like quality of I don't know, like of the stuff people post. It's not like just like stupid, boring TechCrunch articles. Like it's like interesting things that I wouldn't be able to find elsewhere on my own. And yeah, it's free. I think it's been around for a little while, but it's definitely been growing a lot over the past couple months.
Do you know the types of people that use it, or like use like pages of people that use it, or like?
It's supposed to be like you put stuff that you're reading at work on it, and it's like definitely have more tech and like sort of the nebulas that touch it. Like it's so there's like VCs, people who work in tech departments at big companies like Disney, and then like a lot of startup people, a lot of developers at like both like big companies like Twitter and then like smaller startups. But definitely tech leaning. I don't know if it's meant to be like that or if it's just like the founder was in tech, so like I think it just sort of started in that scene. But yeah, I really like it. It's like a lot of the comments are really interesting, and yeah, it's kind of fun to like see what other people are reading.
Yeah, comment sections are always interesting. Good time.
Yeah, so that's the app of the week. I think that's all I have.
Yeah, there was a lot of big stories this week. But
I know. Yeah, cool. Well, I guess we'll be back for episode 5 next week. And until then, have a nice weekend, and if you are lucky enough to be off on Martin Luther King Day, enjoy it. And yeah, see you next Friday.
Yeah,
bye guys.
bye.